Hey there, how's everyone doing? We're really happy to have you here from all around the world. If you're new, welcome to the family. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Now imagine this. You're just chilling, listening to the news, and you hear that the US is working on a new space weapon worth $175 billion. At the same time, Russia is gathering a massive force and making huge preparations for a new offensive. Meanwhile, we're supposedly talking about peace agreements or some secret peace draft. And China's also getting involved in America's affairs. There's a lot going on today. Really interesting stuff we need to talk about. Peace be upon you all and welcome. Hope you're doing well. Let's get into it. Former US President Donald Trump announced that the US is going to build a space wall, a space defense shield. What does that mean? He basically said,
"We're going to build the Golden Dome."
Not the Iron Dome like Israel has. No, this is the Golden Dome. So, what's the Golden Dome? It's a defense system that America plans to develop. It's supposed to be a multi-layered air defense system to intercept ballistic missiles, even those coming from space. From space? I mean, who exactly are we expecting to attack us from space? Just kidding. What they really mean are those long-range missiles that re-enter the Earth's atmosphere after being launched. And how much did the US say this would cost? $175 billion. Could Trump have made this announcement before he went to the Gulf? Probably not. You know the saying, take care of your home before the mosque. But when we're talking about $3.2 trillion, a nice jet and some flashy deals, then sure. What's another $175 billion? It's like if you had $1,000 and gave a kid $2 as a tip, you won't even feel it. Same idea. So what does this mean? It shows the US is seriously planning to shift its defense and military strategy to a whole new level. And don't forget, Russia now has hypersonic missiles. US military officials have recently been warning that Russia and China, especially Russia, have hypersonic weapons that American defense systems might not be able to stop. But Trump claimed yesterday that all of these missiles, even hypersonic ones, can be intercepted by this Golden Dome. But is that really possible? Can this thing actually stop missiles like Sarmat or Avangard? We don't know yet, but according to Trump, the system will be ready and fully operational within 3 years. Then he said,
Canada called us, and they want to be a part of it. So we're talking to them. They want protection too. The Golden Dome will integrate with our existing defense systems and should be ready before my term ends. Once it's built, it'll be able to intercept missiles from anywhere in the world, even from space.
And guess who stepped in? The Chinese Foreign Ministry spokeswoman. China strongly objected. Let's be real, the whole project is probably aimed at China. Trump's always had China in his sights, or at least the US has in general. Anyway, China's spokeswoman said this plan threatens global peace and could push the world into a very dangerous phase.
China rejects this project and that the US is always paranoid about its own security. Instead of focusing on building more weapons, they should work on improving their relationships with other countries.
Now, let's move to something even heavier. The US just announced that it tested another intercontinental ballistic missile called Minuteman III. This is the second test of its kind. These tests are usually pre-planned and coordinated. Even when Russia tests a missile or does a nuclear test, they notify the US and vice versa. So even when Biden was in office and tensions were high between Russia and the US, they still had to notify each other about such tests. Not doing so would be a major disaster. So this second test in May is clearly a message. The US is saying, we've got nuclear deterrence, advanced offensive capabilities, and some of the most powerful ballistic missiles out there. Now let's get to the ground reality, Russia and Ukraine.
In Ukraine, the Chief of Staff of the 13th Brigade of the National Guard said that Russia is gathering a huge force to launch an attack on the Kharkiv region.
According to the Financial Times, Ukrainian intelligence has spotted about 20,000 fully trained and equipped Russian troops preparing for the offensive.
This is a big deal for several reasons. First, Kharkiv is Ukraine's second most important city, even more significant than Odessa. It's the largest city after the capital.
Second, this could mean that Russia doesn't want negotiations to only be about the 5 occupied regions. They might be trying to add Kharkiv as a new bargaining chip.
Third, spring is here. The rain is letting up and the ground is starting to dry. so the timing is perfect for launching military operations.
A major pressure point. Russia launches a powerful strike near the border. There's another important update. Russia launched a major strike on Ukraine. It happened at a firing range in the Sumy region. You probably know that Sumy is right near the Russian border. There was a training ground there for Ukrainian soldiers, and Russia hit it with an Iskander missile. According to Ukraine, 6 soldiers were killed and 10 others injured. But honestly, I don't think those numbers are accurate. I mean, we're talking about a firing range, a place where soldiers are grouped together training. If an Iskander missile hits a location like that, you can't tell me only 6 people died and 10 got injured. That's not a homemade explosive. We're talking about a huge missile. Even homemade IEDs would cause more damage than that in such a dense area. So if Ukraine themselves admitted to casualties, that means the actual situation is much worse than what they're saying. But they're not revealing everything. This was a serious strike. The unit commander was killed, and now they're investigating some officers. Why? Because how did such an attack happen during an active training session with so many troops gathered in one place? And how did Russia know? Let's be honest, the Russians don't just throw random shots hoping to hit something. They get solid intel and strike based on it. They don't shoot blindly. Now here's something else President Putin did that's worth mentioning. He visited Kursk, his first visit there since August of last year. Before that, he hadn't been to Kursk for a while. His visit sends a clear message to the Russian people. Kursk is now completely secure. No more Ukrainian forces there. You know how these presidential visits always carry meaning. While there, he talked about mine-clearing operations and told the engineering units that the land needs to be cleared of mines so people can return to their homes. His presence in Kursk is basically a political message to Ukraine. Putin's saying, I'm right here, near the border, in the middle of the army, and everything is under control. Now finally, let's talk about something that's kind of ridiculous and might actually make you laugh. So apparently during talks between Russian and Ukrainian delegations, they discussed a memorandum of understanding. They were negotiating a prisoner exchange, 1,000 POWs for 1,000 POWs. They said they were preparing a memorandum to end the war. But here's the funny part. One of the main conditions from Russia is that they won't agree to a ceasefire until all Western funding to Ukraine is completely stopped. And up until now, we haven't seen any sign of that happening. But what really stood out was what Kremlin spokesman Dmitry Peskov said today. He said the memorandum is being prepared in secret. I didn't get it at first. What kind of peace agreement is done in secret? It sounded like a wedding list or something, like they were hiding it because it listed the bride's dowry or something. Bedroom sets, heaters, cups and plates. Seriously, what kind of peace list is so hush-hush? Anyway, when you put all these events together, the US is announcing this massive Golden Dome missile defense project. They're testing intercontinental missiles again. China is extremely worried and openly upset. Russia is gearing up for a major invasion. Russia also just launched a huge, deadly strike on a Ukrainian training base. And Putin himself is showing up near the Kursk border. So the real question is the world heading toward full-blown war and escalation, or is all this just a show of power, each side flexing its muscles to pressure the other? Thanks a lot for watching. Drop your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell. Here at S News, we're committed to giving you traditional and fair news coverage,